I'm 26 years old and I have been self-employed my entire adult career. And through that career, I have learned a lot of valuable lessons. I feel as though I have done a lot of things right, but I also know that I've done a lot of things wrong. Like, a lot of things. So in today's video, I want to talk about the top 5 things that you should not do if you want to start a business. And this is based off of personal experience because I've done most of these and I regret those decisions sitting here today. So let's get started. The number one mistake that I see with so many people who are wanting to start a business, and the number one thing that you should not do, is automatically resort to getting funding or getting a loan in order to start your business. This is such a common misconception, and it's something that I hear all the time. I hear it in the comments of this YouTube channel. I hear it from people that I consult with. I hear it from a variety of aspiring entrepreneurs and business owners. There is this belief that in order to start a proper business, you have to get investors, you have to get a loan, or you have to have capital in order to do that. But that is simply not the reality of the situation. There are so many businesses that you can make and create and grow with very little capital to begin with. And if you do need capital, chances are you don't need a ton of it. You could probably just go pick up some extra hours at work, start freelancing, do a side gig or a side hustle, and raise the money that way. The vast majority of businesses don't need a loan, a 5-figure loan or a 6-figure loan or a 7-figure loan in order to get started. The fact is that whenever you start a business, yeah, there will be some upfront costs. There will be the cost of, creating a website, creating a logo, any sort of materials you need to start out. But then from there, you can really grow organically. And by organically growing, I mean that you can set aside your profits and then reinvest those profits into the business to grow it to that next level. For me, I started my first business at 20 years old, and that was a franchise that I opened a couple of years later. And with that franchise, I had to secure a $330,000 loan with the SBA, a loan that I'm still paying off to this day, despite the fact that the business has been closed for 2 years. I don't necessarily regret the decision of getting that $330,000 SBA loan because getting that loan has made me smarter and more experienced and just overall was a really good learning experience for me. But if I could go back in time, I don't know if I would make that exact same decision today simply because of the fact that there are so many other businesses and kind of ventures that you can pursue that require a significantly smaller upfront investment. So if you're somebody who's wanting to start a business, if you're wanting to grow a business, chances are you don't need an investor. You don't need to take out a loan. All you need is some upfront capital to start, which you can raise through working, through side hustles, through side gigs, and then once you get started, you can reinvest your profits from there. The most important thing that you need to start a business is your time and energy and effort. And if you have those 3 things, the rest will follow. So if you're wanting to start a business, please do not take out a large loan that exposes yourself to unnecessary liabilities. Number 2 is to strive for perfection. The fact of the matter is, if you are starting a business, things will not be perfect. It is impossible to be perfect, especially in the world of business, and especially in the world of business if you're a first-time business owner. Perfection is the enemy of progress. And I wish that I could take credit for that quote, but I can't remember who said it, but it's a quote that is so incredibly true. The fact of the matter is, if you want to grow a business, if you want to start a business, if you want to scale a business, you cannot do that if you are constantly on top of the perfectionism of your business. You are going to make mistakes. Your product is going to have errors. Your marketing plan is going to have problems with it. That is just the reality of entrepreneurship. And with business and with starting a business, it's so important to learn as you go. And you will learn as you go, you will improve, and the mistakes and the lack of perfection will become smaller and smaller as time goes on. And as long as you continue to grow and as long as you continue to learn, that's all you can really ask for. You can't ask for a perfect product because there is no such thing as one. Instead of striving for perfection, I would instead strive for progress and strive for making your product better and better every single time you do it. For me in YouTube, for example, I'm somebody that has no background in filmmaking. I know nothing about cameras, but I'm really, really working hard to learn. If I was striving for perfection with my first YouTube video, I simply would have never started YouTube. I would have continuously spent hundreds of hours editing my first YouTube video. I would have never published it because it would have never been perfect. But instead, what I strive for is I want my videos to be better and better than the one before it. And sometimes I don't do this, and that's okay, but I would say for the most part, my videos that I published today in September of 2020 are significantly better than the videos that I published at the beginning of this year in January of 2020. That is because of the fact that instead of striving for perfection, I've been just striving for progress. And as a result, I have been able to progress progress, I've been able to improve, but I've also been able to grow a business at the same time. And that is, I think, the key to growing a successful business. Number 3 is on a similar topic as the perfection versus progress point, and that is to not get stuck in an endless loop of planning. This is something that I see all the time, and I think that it is ultimately the downfall of a business and the downfall of entrepreneurship, and that is people who just plan and they never take action. These are people that want to have every single move of their business planned out. They want to have every single financial move planned out in advance. They want to know exactly where they're going to be 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. But the fact is that no matter how long you spend planning, there is inevitably 100% going to be something that comes up that you did not plan for. So instead of sitting there and planning out your life goals and your life plan for your business, I would instead recommend for you to plan out a rough draft. Plan out a rough draft roadmap of where you want your business to go and how long it should take you to get there. But then leave the rest kind of open-ended. This allows for you to adjust your game plan and your business plan in order to accommodate new struggles, new hurdles, and new hardships that you will inevitably experience with your business. On the same topic of perfection, the fact is that you can't plan out everything, and so to spend more than a few months planning out your business is simply a waste of time. I would encourage you to build out a rough draft, to launch your product, and then to reevaluate from there. Business changes based off of world events, and the fact of the matter is you can't always predict everything that's going to happen in the future. And if you try to, you are simply going to waste your time. Instead, keep yourself flexible, be able to pivot when you need to, and don't get stuck in the endless loop of planning. Number 4 is the mistake of not asking for help. Now, this is something that I often find myself falling into, so I've certainly learned from this mistake, and I try to grow from it every single day. But asking for help in business is so important, especially if you're a new entrepreneur who's trying to grow and start a business. You're not going to know everything. It's just the reality of the situation. And there's going to be areas of business that you are weak on and areas that maybe you'll know somebody who is more strong on that same subject. For example, like my Turo business, I know a lot about cars and I can maintain and repair a lot of basic issues with vehicles. But there are a lot of problems that I simply can't fix because I either am not experienced enough or I don't feel comfortable enough doing it. That's where I rely on my connections with people in order to help me complete those tasks. And this is certainly not just limited to the car industry. You can do it with almost anything. If you have a website and maybe there is an aspect of web development that you don't know a whole lot about, you can rely on your connections in order to fulfill that need. Maybe there is a connection that you could take advantage of with accounting services or legal services or whatever the case is. I mean, the examples are literally endless. And I can't tell you how many times a connection has helped me in order to grow and improve my business. And a connection all starts with asking for help. So if you're somebody who's wanting to grow a business, if you're wanting to start a business, then please do not get stuck into your own pride and ask for help whenever you need it, because it will be an absolute game changer when it comes to starting and growing your business. My next tip is one that I think hits really close to home for me because it's one of the biggest practices that I have in my day-to-day life, is to not be one of those people that just talks and not acts. This is one of my biggest pet peeves, and not only business, but just in my day-to-day life. I really dislike whenever people talk instead of acting. So these are people that will talk about what they're going to do, they'll talk about the tasks that they have, they'll talk about what they want to accomplish, but they never actually take the steps in order to do that. And this can really vary from person to person and from case by case. It could be something as simple as somebody saying, hey, I'm going to clean the house today, but then they never actually end up cleaning the house, to a more extreme example of somebody that goes on social media, talks about their business they're going to start, how they're planning their business, what they're going to do with the money that they make from the business, but then they never actually get to starting the business. One of my all-time favorite quotes, and something that I repeatedly tell myself, is the quote by Frank Ocean that says, "Work hard in silence and let success be your noise." And I think that this is so valuable for everybody to learn. This is something that I practice in my day-to-day life almost to a fault, because I've gotten to the point now where I often won't tell anybody about anything I'm working on until months after I've already been working on it. For example, with this YouTube channel, I didn't tell anybody I was starting a YouTube channel until about 2 months ago. And this is something that I really live by, and I think that it's incredibly beneficial because it allows for you to focus your energy and to focus your efforts on your actual business rather than telling people about your business. The other benefit of working hard in silence is the fact that it takes the public scrutiny out of the equation. The fact of the matter is, even with me and my YouTube channel, one of the reasons why I didn't tell people about my YouTube channel was because of the fact that I was kind of embarrassed about it. I didn't like the idea of my friends and family being able to view my YouTube videos, and I was really self-conscious about that. So the way I combated that was I simply didn't tell anybody. And that really helped me to be able to kind of get out of my comfort zone, get comfortable making YouTube videos. That way, whenever I told people about it, I wouldn't care if they watched them. The same can be said with any business or anything that you're pursuing in your personal life. Ideally, of course, public scrutiny and the public perception and the opinions of others shouldn't matter, but the reality is that they do. And I know for me personally, the opinions of my peers does matter to me, and I do feel self-conscious about it. And that's how it is with everybody. So the way that you can deal with public scrutiny and public opinion is to simply not tell anybody until you feel comfortable doing what you're doing. And once you feel comfortable, you won't really care about public opinion anyways. Talking about your plans takes effort, and that effort gets taken away from your actual progress if all you're doing is talking about the progress you want to make. So instead of talking about progress, instead of talking about your business, instead just work in silence and keep working until your progress will speak for itself. This is one of the biggest things that I live by on a day-to-day basis, and I definitely think it's made a difference in my overall business success and business progress over the last 6 years. I'm a big believer that anybody can start a successful business. I think that really it comes down to being focused and really putting the energy and the time required to start a business. The fact of the matter is, I'm not that smart. I am kind of a dope in a lot of different areas of my life. And if I can start a successful business, if I can make 6 figures a year, you can do it too. Like, there is literally no doubt in my mind that anybody who's focused, anybody who knows what they want to accomplish can become wildly successful doing what they're passionate about. And if you follow these steps that I've outlined in this video, if you don't do the things that I've spoken about today, then you will be much further ahead than I was at the same point in my career. So with that being said, you guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this video. Do you have any other advice of things that we should or should not do in business ownership and entrepreneurship? I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.